Welcome to True Crime Sleep Stories, where chilling mysteries meet soothing whispers. I'm your host, Kelly, and tonight I'm going to guide you through a real-life puzzle, unraveling the threads of intrigue and suspense as you snuggle beneath your blankets. Designed for true crime aficionados with a penchant for relaxation, each episode promises a blend of curious storytelling and calm narration. So dim the lights, take a deep breath, and allow yourself to drift into a restful state as we explore the darkest corners of history together. Get cozy for the story of D.B. Cooper. Not all enthralling true crime tales involve gruesome acts or sinister plots. Some captivate the imagination by weaving threads of mystery and intrigue, with characters who vanish into the annals of history without a trace. Such is the case with D.B. Cooper, an enduring mystery that has puzzled experts and amateurs alike for decades. Let's go back to the fateful day. On November 24th, 1971, an unremarkable man who introduced himself as Dan Cooper approached the Northwest Orient Airlines counter at Portland International Airport. He purchased a one-way ticket to Seattle, Washington, paying in cash, a decision that would forever embroil him in one of the most perplexing unsolved cases in the FBI's extensive archives. Dan Cooper was an ordinary man with an extraordinary plan. Mistakenly dubbed as D.B. Cooper due to a media blunder, he seemed the epitome of an average businessman in his mid-40s. Clad in a suit, accented with a black tie and a crisp white shirt, he boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, a Boeing 727, without attracting any undue attention. Once seated, he ordered a bourbon and soda, blending seamlessly with his fellow travelers. Yet, beneath this veneer of normalcy lay the blueprint for a daring and audacious act that would soon capture the world's attention. Cooper's demeanor was calm and composed as he settled into his seat. His unassuming behavior persisted as the aircraft taxied and took off, marking the beginning of a flight that would become infamous for its unexpected turn. What followed was a meticulously planned heist, executed with precision and leaving law enforcement agencies grappling with unanswered questions, and an elusive perpetrator who vanished as mysteriously as he appeared. Thus began the legend of D.B. Cooper, a story not defined by bloodshed, but by sheer audacity and an enigmatic escape that continues to challenge investigators and intrigue true crime aficionados to this very day. The mystery endures, inviting us to peer into the shadows of history and ponder the identity and fate of a man who dared to defy gravity and the law. It was a routine afternoon on November 24th, 1971, aboard Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. Business travelers and holidaymakers settled in for what they expected to be an ordinary flight. Among them was Dan Cooper, a calm and composed man, the picture of a typical businessman awaiting takeoff. But as the plane cruised through the skies, his demeanor took on a more sinister edge. Shortly after 3 p.m., Cooper caught the attention of a flight attendant, urging her to come closer. He discreetly slipped her a note, which she initially tucked away without reading, assuming it was just a flirtatious gesture. But Cooper's voice, steady and cold, insisted that she read it immediately. She unfolded the paper to find a chilling message. He had a bomb in his briefcase. Without raising alarm, the flight attendant sat beside him as he had asked. Cooper quietly opened his attaché case, revealing a jumbled array of wires and red sticks, hinting at the deadly potential it contained. The stark contrast between his understated manner and the gravity of his threat left no room for doubt. He dictated his demands for the captain, a staggering $200,000 in cash, equivalent to nearly $1.5 million today, and 4 parachutes. His instructions were clear, and she hurried to the cockpit, the weight of his words spurring her every step. Seattle-Tacoma International Airport was bathed in a soft glow. It was here that Dan Cooper's meticulously crafted plan began to unfold. With an unnerving calm, he orchestrated the release of 36 passengers, each now free from the ordeal that had begun hours earlier. Yet, for the crew remaining on board, their harrowing experience was only just beginning. With the ransom money secured and parachutes carefully stowed, Cooper tightened his grip on the airliner, transforming it into an airborne fortress. His next demand? A flight bound for Mexico City with a necessary refueling stop in Reno, Nevada. The remaining crew, caught up in this unfolding drama, had no choice but to comply with their captor's commands. In what would soon become an indelible chapter in aviation history, Cooper's audacious plot was on the brink of climax. His methodical actions and steely demeanor would soon propel him into history. With its engines roaring to life, the aircraft once again ascended into the night sky. Somewhere over the shadowy expanses of southwestern Washington, Cooper made his daring move. Just over 30 minutes into the flight, he lowered the stairs of the plane and, with the ransom money strapped to his body, leapt into the inky abyss. A night cloaked in rain and darkness. The pilots, following protocol, landed the aircraft safely, but Cooper had vanished without a trace. His disappearance between Mount Rainier and northern Portland created an instant legend. The hijacker had ordered the pilot to open the aircraft's rear door before making his escape, leaving behind a story that would intrigue and baffle for decades. Yet, as Special Agent Larry Carr noted in a 2007 case update, no experienced parachutist would have jumped in the pitch-black night, in the rain, with a 200-mile-an-hour wind in his face, wearing loafers and just a trench coat. It was simply too risky. Cooper's choice to jump with a reserve chute, one that was sewn shut and only meant for training, only added to the mystery, suggesting a deadly oversight or sheer desperation. Thus, an audacious tale of high-stakes intrigue and an untraceable escape was born, forever etching Dan Cooper into the folklore of true crime. In the immediate chaos that followed the infamous skyjacking, the FBI sprang into action with a sweeping investigation known as Operation Norjack, short for Northwest Hijacking. This high-stakes operation was launched even before the jetliner touched down, as agents scrambled to piece together one of aviation history's most perplexing mysteries. The Bureau left no stone unturned. They carefully combed over every inch of the aircraft, hoping to uncover any detail that might lead them closer to the notorious hijacker known as D.B. Cooper. Norjack was not just an operation, it was a relentless pursuit of the truth. Over the years, agents conducted exhaustive interviews with hundreds of individuals and chased down leads from coast to coast. The team's dedication was unwavering as they meticulously analyzed every shred of evidence. Their determination led to narrowing a daunting list of over 800 suspects down to just 24 individuals. Yet, despite the intensity of their efforts and the promising leads that emerged, the man behind the alias of D.B. Cooper remained as shadowy and enigmatic as the night he vanished. His true identity and what ultimately became of him continued to elude some of the nation's sharpest minds. Among the myriad of suspects, Richard Floyd McCoy often stands out due to his arrest for a remarkably similar crime. Less than 5 months after D.B. Cooper's audacious hijacking and parachute escape, McCoy executed a comparable heist, parachuting from a plane with ransom in hand. For a time, investigators considered him a prime suspect. Discrepancies in physical descriptions and other critical details eventually led authorities to rule him out as the elusive Cooper. The question of whether Cooper survived his daring leap into the unknown has spawned endless speculation and theories. Evidence suggests he may not have been a seasoned skydiver, as the parachute he used was non-steerable, making navigation nearly impossible. Furthermore, his attire, a business suit and regular shoes, was ill-suited for a perilous jump into the wilderness on a cold, wet November evening. November 24th, 1971 was a typical night for the Pacific Northwest, characterized by chilling weather and relentless rain. Cooper's jump occurred sometime after 8 p.m., plunging him into darkness shrouded by dense cloud cover at 5,000 feet. His likely landing spot lay in the rugged terrain of southwestern Washington, a region battered by an ongoing storm of rain and snow. While the exact elevation of Cooper's landing site remains unknown, weather data offers chilling insights. At Stampede Pass, situated about 100 to 150 miles north, steady snowfall blanketed the landscape, accumulating 27 inches by November 29th. The temperatures lingered in the frigid upper 20s to 30 degrees Fahrenheit, painting a grim picture of Cooper's chance for survival. The FBI's focus centered on the area around Lake Merwin, where terrain elevations varied from 2,000 to 2,500 feet. Yet, if the wind carried him eastward, Cooper faced even higher elevations. Reports from Portland confirmed that the heavy precipitation extended into southern Washington and northern Oregon, ensuring that Cooper would have encountered either a snowstorm or torrential rain, depending on his final resting place. In the inhospitable wilderness, Cooper was left with little more than his suit and shoes, hardly the equipment needed for survival in such harsh conditions. With no provisions for warmth, fire, or shelter, he would have been soaked from the jump, exposed to relentless rain or snow, and struggling against the unforgiving elements. If he managed to survive and vanish without a trace, it would not only be one of the greatest heists in history, but also an extraordinary survival story. However, if the odds were against him, his tale serves as a cautionary reminder of nature's unpredictability, emphasizing the importance of preparation and awareness before venturing out into the unknown. A significant clue emerged in 1980 when a young boy named Brian Ingram made a startling discovery. While digging a fire pit in the sandy banks of the Columbia River at Tennabar, north of Portland, Ingram unearthed 3 bundles of decaying $20 bills. The total amount was $5,800, and the serial numbers matched the ransom money, marking the first evidence linked to Cooper since his disappearance. The discovery ignited fresh curiosity and debate among Cooper hunters who speculated on how the money arrived at the riverbank. Theories abounded, adding fuel to the legend of D.B. Cooper and ensuring that this tale endures in true crime lore. What was D.B. Cooper's fate? The mystery of D.B. Cooper has sparked debates worldwide. Forums and online communities buzz with theories about the fate of the elusive hijacker, driven by a few intriguing questions that remain unanswered to this day. Several theories have been dissected by the group Citizen Sleuths, a dedicated team of online researchers with backgrounds in crime investigations. One of the most hotly debated topics is whether Cooper could have survived his dramatic leap from the plane. Experts are divided. Some seasoned skydivers suggest that an amateur would not have survived such a daring jump, whereas others claim that with just a handful of practice jumps, survival was plausible. The harsh weather conditions that night only add to the uncertainty. Despite thorough searches, no body or parachute has ever been discovered, leaving Cooper's fate shrouded in mystery. Determining Cooper's level of expertise in skydiving presents its own set of puzzles. His request for front and back parachutes hints at inexperience, yet his refusal of parachute instructions suggests confidence and familiarity. The choice of a non-steerable military parachute raises more questions than answers. Was it a novice error or a calculated decision due to its ability to endure high-speed jumps? While he donned the parachute with apparent proficiency, his selection of a non-functional reserve chute seems to contradict this. This blend of seemingly opposing actions keeps investigators guessing about his true capabilities. As previously mentioned, in 1980, a young boy stumbled upon a bundle of decaying bills along the Columbia River's Tennabar, an unexpected clue in an otherwise cold case. This discovery is puzzling given that it's located 20 miles from the theorized drop zone near Ariel, Washington. Several theories attempt to explain this mystery. The Washougal washdown theory posits that the money traveled through smaller rivers into the Columbia. Alternatively, some speculate that the FBI's flight path was just incorrect, allowing Cooper to land directly at Tennabar and hide the money himself. There's also the possibility that Cooper, or an accomplice, intentionally buried the money to mislead authorities. Geologist Dr. Leonard Palmer's analysis suggested the cash settled into newly deposited dredge sand, indicating it may have traveled from upstream, though the intact rubber bands challenge this timeline. How 3 bundles of cash remained together for years only to be uncovered remains a point of intrigue. Theories range from the bundles being protected by a bank bag, which later disintegrated, to Cooper losing the money upon his landing. Some even suggest a third party could have buried it there for reasons unknown. The condition of the recovered money, with edges worn and holes present, prompts questions about its time spent in the elements. Could roots, river currents, or dredging have contributed to its deterioration? The official flight path, as mapped in the FBI archives, lacks critical details such as its creator and date. Speculation suggests it was derived from radar data and flight recorder analysis. However, this path does not align with Tennabar or the Washougal area. The discovery at Tennabar forces a reconsideration of the flight path, suggesting Cooper may have jumped or the plane flew over a different trajectory than initially believed. Cooper's recognition of Tacoma from the air suggests familiarity with the region, yet it raises suspicions about his origins. Some speculate he was a local. However, the unique request for negotiable American currency implies he might have been an outsider unfamiliar with American vernacular. Despite countless investigations and potential leads, none of the current suspects fit the D.B. Cooper profile convincingly. Experts surmise Cooper might have been employed in fields related to metalworking or chemical processing, but doubt lingers over whether any of the FBI's suspects are the real hijacker. The case of D.B. Cooper is one of those rare enigmas that has captivated both seasoned law enforcement and amateur sleuths for decades. Despite exhaustive investigations by the FBI and countless theories spun by enthusiasts around the globe, the case remains unsolved. D.B. Cooper's daring leap from the aircraft into the dense forests of southwestern Washington has left an indelible mark on the true crime world. Each attempt to uncover the truth only adds layers of complexity to the narrative, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Did Cooper survive that perilous jump into the rugged wilderness? Is he living somewhere under a new identity, having successfully eluded capture with his ill-gotten gains? Or did he meet a different fate, swallowed by the vast and unforgiving terrain below? The allure of D.B. Cooper's story lies not only in its mystery, but also in its tantalizing what-ifs. In a case devoid of violence or injury, many find themselves secretly rooting for the enigmatic hijacker. The notion that Cooper might have managed to start anew, free from the constraints of his former life, taps into a universal yearning for reinvention. Who hasn't dreamed of parachuting into a fresh beginning, unburdened by the past? This idea, the possibility of successful escape and reinvention, is perhaps why the legend of D.B. Cooper refuses to fade. It challenges our notions of justice and law, urging us to contemplate the thin line between crime and adventure. While the truth about D.B. Cooper remains elusive, the mystery continues to beckon us, whispering its unanswered questions and daring us to solve this riddle. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of True Crime Sleep Stories. Until next time, good night, sleep tight, and be sure to lock your doors every night. Bye-bye.